Welcome to the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Pat Sherwood, joined at the desk tonight by Katie Motter-Henniger and Josh Everett, former Games champion and former Games podium occupier in 2007 and 2008. Here, still in the Central East region, day 2 was insane, but first, let's talk about the teams competition before we dive into the individuals. One team is making themselves known more than any other here, SPC CrossFit. These guys came in talking a big game. They said they're going to smash and set world records, and they have completely lived up to the hype, setting 3. However, Southern California had something to say about that.
Yeah, the, SPC set a world record on event 3 today, and CrossFit Invictus actually finished this workout. No other team, to include SPC, had finished the workout. CrossFit Invictus just a few hours ago finished this workout.
Yeah, and there was talk that event 4 of the team competition, nobody would finish the workout. And in Southern California, we had CrossFit Invictus, who've finished, won the workout, set the world record, but also CDR out of Redlands, California, also finished the workout. And it's mind-blowing. That's 900 reps completed in less than 25 minutes.
And that's approximately doing 1 repetition every 1.5 seconds, sustained for 25 minutes for all of you guys that love to crunch some math out there. So it looks like in this region, no one is going to touch SPC. However, why can't you just let us have our world records? Southern California had to mess it all up, like you said, and they didn't just mess up the team side of the house. We had a woman, Julie Fouché, set a world record on event number 3, but then what happens? Lindsay Valenzuela takes it from her and does it in 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Let's check that out.
I think everybody up here at the desk, I think if one female was going to world record on this, it was going to be Lindsay Valenzuela.
Yeah, no surprise. Lindsay's one of the strongest female athletes in CrossFit, and tremendous upper body strength, and a great Olympic lifter in her own right, competitive Olympic lifter.
There you see the Josh Bridges fist pump. Let's hear what Lindsay had to say. Performance.
Well, I knew going into the event that I had to make up some points. So yesterday I kind of forgot just to be in my own little world when I was, doing the workouts. And I honestly didn't know where anyone was during that workout. I didn't hear anybody. I didn't hear the announcer. Beforehand, I just, messed around with the dumbbells, light weights, stretched, worked on my mobility, and I was pretty fired up before the squad. I knew I needed to do well in the event, so.
Lindsay is an amazing athlete. We wish her well. There's all kinds of other things going on around the world today. For the latest news, events, summaries, and highlights, go to games.crossfit.com. But back to here, back to Central East, day 2 did not disappoint. Coming into day 2, Dan Bailey was in the lead, not Rich Froning, not Graham Holmberg, Dan Bailey. And event number 3 only further solidified that Dan Bailey is for real.
Started out day 1 with a world record on Diane. Starts out day 2 with another world record on the dumbbell snatch workout.
Yeah, we know these short events, Dan is going to take it out hard and fast and leave that foot on the gas pedal throughout. What's even more impressive here is he extended his lead over Rich Froning. Not just took the lead here, but extended. We look here, we see Graham diving for that dumbbell. He also finished ahead of Rich, which put Rich in an unfamiliar spot, 3rd place after 3 events.
Yeah, and you see 2 previous Games champions diving after Dan Bailey, not beating him. They're trying to catch up to him, and now they're beating each other. It was an amazing event. Now, going into event 4, Rich Froning finds himself bumped to 3rd place. A position that he does not enjoy, and so he did something about it.
Yeah, and I think maybe he heard everyone talking, can Rich go long? Can he finish this workout in 1st place? We knew he needed to make a statement. He did, went out and crushed the world record in this event, and just an amazing performance on the day.
Yeah, long may be relative. Everyone else, this was a long workout.
Exactly.
Rich managed to get through it in 15 minutes and 29 seconds, taking very few breaks, and when he did come off the bar, he was right back on it. And of course, we all know about his shoulder stamina.
And he could apparently not only do the repetitions, but throw the bar high into the air, and rearrange the leaderboard after that, and now put himself back into 1st place. So we come back into day 3, it's once again the Rich Froning Jr. show. We shall see. However, Rich has been in the top 3 constantly. We're talking Dan Bailey, we're talking Graham Holmberg, but there's another gentleman that has been right on their heels the entire time. I know he's one of your favorite athletes.
Yeah, Marcus Hendren, there's always somebody new on the scene, and I think that it's been a nice surprise here. He was actually tied with Graham Holmberg in event 3 for 2nd, and he forgot to advance his dumbbell forward. Had to do the sprint again. See, right here, you can see he has to advance the dumbbell, do the sprint a second time, and ended up tied for 5th in the event.
Yeah, and even with that extra sprint, finished well.
And he is one of the athletes making the Central East even more exciting than he thought it was going to be, because we have an interesting situation here. 2 previous Games champions, Rich Froning Jr. and Graham Holmberg. Now, there's 3 spots going to the Games, but it's a little bit tricky here because, let's say, history plays out as it seems like it will after 2 days, that Rich will be somewhere in the top 5 and Graham will be somewhere in the top 5. They are not going to take a spot from another top 5 athlete. So meaning Rich would go to the Games, Graham would go to the Games, and then the other 3 athletes within the top 5 would proceed to the Games with them.
Yes, and it's a real battle for those other 3 spots. Dan Bailey's pretty much got one locked up. Nick Forey, who we saw just a minute ago, is sitting there in 5th place. He's to be reckoned with. Scott Panchik, if you look in 6th place right there, he is a burpee monster, getting 161 reps on the initial open workout, tied for most in the world. Day 6, the event 6 on Sunday, he gets to those burpees in that workout, he's going to blaze those and possibly move up.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot to be paying attention to on day 3. Spots 5 through 10 only separated by 9 points. We need to keep an eye on all of these athletes because the leaderboard is bound to get mixed up after events 5 and event 6. Sitting there in 5th place was Nick Forey. Here is why he's an interesting athlete and you should watch out for him. In 2011 at the regionals, he took 5th place. That means he is hungry. His snatch is right around 245 pounds, so he could make a move during event 5.
Yeah, and you mentioned Scott Panchik earlier, who's sitting in 6th place, and right below him is Nick Uranker. He's done a lot of talk this week saying he was going to be in the top 5 in every event. It really hasn't worked out that way. He's dug himself a little bit of a hole, but he does have a 265-pound snatch, so if he can do that and pull it off and move up, then he may get a chance in event 6.
8th place, Joe Weigel. Here's why he made a move during event number 3 today. Another 245-pound snatch, but go to event 4 during the open. He did extremely well in the Karen double under muscle up, so if he gets to event 6, he's going to crush those muscle ups. He just needs to get his foot in the door.
And then 9th place right now is David Stowe. After an outstanding day 2, he moved up the ranks. He's within striking distance of that top 5. And let's take a look at an interview and see what he has to say about how he thinks he's going to do tomorrow.
What do you feel that you need to do to slide into one of those spots?
I needed at least a 225-pound snatch with good amount of double unders, at least.
And what's your PR on your snatch right now?
I did 225 on Wednesday. I hope to hit 235, but if I hit 225, it should be good with a lot of double unders. And then the second workout, I should do really well. I've done it before, and I should do good. I don't know if I'm gonna be Spiller-esque, but I'm gonna try.
I talked to David Stowe a couple times yesterday and today. I'm a big fan of the guy. Garage CrossFitters, heart's in the right place. I'm pulling for you, brother. Those are the athletes you need to watch for on the bubble. This is not over in the Central East, but I'm going to put you two, our expert analysts, feet to the fire. Dan, Rich, Graham, who knows who's going to win the Central East Regional at the end of event 6 tomorrow.
I think we've seen Rich Froning be a little bit human this weekend, but he's still going to pull it off. He's still going to be in the number 1 spot.
Yeah, Rich Froning's the easy choice. He's going to win that snatch ladder tomorrow, and then he's going to do enough, if not win event 6 as well, to hold off and win the entire region.
My call, Dan Bailey. I'm a believer. He's going to do it. Dan, you're in my heart. I know you can get it. You're out of Rich's shadow. You've crushed it so far, and I believe in you, brother. When we come back, the ladies' competition in Central East has been equally, if not more impressive than the gentlemen's side of the house. You do not want to go anywhere. Come on back.
GNC is proud to be the official vitamin and sports nutrition retailer of the CrossFit Games. GNC, live well.
What's up?
Get my hamstrings, I don't know what you'd call that, but...
Rolled out, maybe?
Yeah, they're pretty knotted up.
How come Dan's not doing it?
I don't know. I don't know where Dan went to. Looked too easy for Dan, I guess.
You guys fighting?
No, we're good.
Okay. What's your favorite thing about Rich?
Favorite thing about Rich?
Oh, man. He doesn't take anything, believe it or not, this is going to sound bad, but he doesn't take anything real serious. I mean, he's pretty relaxed. He's out there to work out, have fun, and do the best that he can. What's your favorite thing about Dan?
His biceps.
He does have nice biceps.
Massive biceps and calves, too.
Rich said his favorite thing about you was your biceps.
I guess my favorite thing about him then is his pecs.
Do you think they're implants?
I mean, I haven't gotten to felt them. We might have to ask Hillary about that.
Who are you, young lady?
I'm Hillary Froning. I'm Rich's wife.
How do you feel about the bromance between Rich and Dan?
I was waiting for it. I figured you were going to ask me about it.
I mean, they're BFFs.
They are. He lives with us. I met him when he moved in our house. I had never met him before.
So,
they think he's a good guy.
did Rich just tell you, hey, my buddy's coming to live with us?
Yeah.
He moved in with you.
Yep, he lives upstairs.
So, he came down.
Apartment A.
How much do you charge him in rent?
Nothing.
It's a pretty good deal. Well, what's their favorite thing to do together other than obviously working out?
Probably just destroy stuff. Just mess up everything. Probably.
Who can fix things better?
Me. I don't ask either one of them.
Neither of them? You have to fix it?
No, I fix it. Yeah.
Which one's the better cook?
Well, Dan fixes breakfast every morning, and then Rich is better at dinner. He cooks dinner all the time. I don't cook either. Unless it's cereal.
Do you ever cook for those guys?
Occasionally in the mornings.
So you take care of breakfast?
No, not all the time. They give me a hard time because I don't cook enough.
Does he organize the weights?
A little bit, yeah. He organizes the weights. He gets upset at me because I just throw them wherever.
How are they organized?
Numerical order, and then the type of bumper needs to be the same, and then I don't, whatever.
Welcome back. Let's dive into what took place after 2 days of competition on the women's side of the house. World records falling there as well. We were saying the Central East regional competition was going to be the Lindsey Smith and the Julie Fouché show, but largely it's been the Julie Fouché show.
Yeah, she took 2 second-place finishes on day one. What's better than that? 2 first-place finishes today. So came out of event 3, what would be a world record at the time. Lindsay Valenzuela beat that later, but then came out and destroyed event 4.
Yeah, we're looking at her dumbbell sprint performance here. A little bit of questions of how she was going to handle that heavy dumbbell being a smaller athlete, but she blazed right through it.
And in event 4, a world record, not just by a little bit, not 30 seconds, by almost 4 minutes.
It was amazing to watch her do this event. And you can see here, she didn't even look fatigued after this, but she was literally running in between each bar.
Yeah, and that's incomprehensible to me. 4 minutes faster than any other female competitor. And the way she did her reps, they were perfect. Rep 1 to 150 on those squats was all perfect form. Just seamless, unbelievably efficient.
And there has not been a male that has beaten her time either. And if somebody wants to, they're going to have to suffer to get down to as fast as she did this workout. Now, the woman right on her heels, Lindsey Smith, I'm a huge fan, and it pains me to admit this, but Lindsey does not seem to be in the same league as Julie after 2 days of competition. Doesn't seem like another woman can catch Lindsey right now, but as far as Lindsey catching Julie, it's not looking good.
Yeah, we thought on event 3 that Lindsey may come out and make some moves and get closer to Julie, but we didn't see that happen. But rumored 170-pound snatch. We hope to see her make some moves in event 5, and I think that will go well for her going into event 6.
Yeah, I think event 5, she's going to move ahead of Julie, or at least place higher in that event, close the gap on the points, but it won't be enough as I see Julie really taking event 6 over Lindsey, and so I think Lindsey's going to be stuck in that second place slot.
Now again, in our sport, anything can happen, but let's just say that it plays out how it looks. Julie number 1, Lindsey number 2. The real battle then becomes for that 3rd spot. Who is occupying, or who has potential to occupy that 3rd spot?
You know, coming into this weekend, we thought it would be Michelle Kinney, well-known CrossFitter, veteran of 2 CrossFit games. But what we saw last year at the games, she struggled with some of the heavier loads, and that's come back to haunt her this year. She had a year to fix that, didn't get it fixed. That dumbbell snatch really hurt her. The heavy cleans hurt her on day 1. So now she's dug herself a hole that I don't think she can get out of.
And now, after a look at that leaderboard, you can see that Michelle Kinney is 9 points out of 3rd place. So again, anything's possible, but it doesn't look good. So let's say Michelle Kinney's out. Who has a possibility of taking that spot?
My pick would be Heather Welsh. She's a former OSU volleyball player. She came out in event 3, got second to Julie Fouché, moved her way up the leaderboard, and proved to me at least that she does deserve to be in that top tier.
Yeah, and the other athlete that is right there with Heather Welch is Lindsay McDuffie. If you look at their stats coming in, very comparable, very close athletes, and right now they're very close for that 3rd spot. It's all going to come down to who handles the pressure of that final day. Event 5, event 6, what's your nerves like? Who's going to deliver on game day when it counts?
Day 3 is going to be going down soon. World records have been toppling. Julie Fouché has been putting on a clinic. You're not going to want to miss the coverage tomorrow. Josh, Katie, I appreciate you guys' analysis. When we come back, I will be joined at the desk by 2009 CrossFit Games champion Tanya Wagner and Sheree Chan. We will discuss movement quality and optimization for competitors in the sport of fitness.
Sometimes we go camping, and then we go running, like in the river, and do overhead squats. Like sometimes my dad lifts me for the squat. He pretends like I'm the bar, and we do things like that. But first, my mom and dad, when they started CrossFit, and I was interested in it, so like one day my mom was interpreting for me and explaining, and like. Besides the other trainers. So I'd watch the trainers and my mom signing, and I would watch the movements from the trainers. And then I would just continue to try to copy what they do and read some of their lips and do it that way. Because I'm not sure. Because I want to be really healthy and be able to lift. Like, I want to be able to lift my bed. Or if I want to move into a new house, when I get older, I can move my things. We like to do it together. When we have the opportunity, like I said, when I teach kids classes, the girls are great help with that. And then we work out on the weekends, so we definitely work out together as a family, and that's always a lot of fun. Sometimes we get to partner up, so we have a lot of fun with that.
One of the things I enjoy most is watching both of these two learn new things and progress through just becoming consistent with their movements and getting better and better every day. It's so amazing to watch kids pick something up and finally get it and then really excel. And that's what's fun about watching these two do it. I guess I just like seeing the effort that everybody puts out there on the floor. You see people of a variety of ages and sizes, and you see some people who really struggle with some of the heavy weights, and I just like the example that these folks are in trying to push through a really difficult workout, and the example that is for the kids that sometimes you're not going to get through it, but you're going to keep going anyway.
Welcome back. I am joined at the desk by Tanya Wagner, 2009 CrossFit Games champion and affiliate owner, as well as Sheree Chan, who competed in the games in 2008 as well as 2011 and owns CrossFit Verve out in Denver. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Pat.
We're here at the Central East Regionals. We've been seeing the sport of fitness go down all weekend long, and the sport of fitness has some unique characteristics to it. The athletes here are trying to win. They're trying to eventually get $250,000, and they're doing that through trying to move faster than the person next to them. So their goal is to optimize their movement, and by optimize I can kind of mean move the bare minimum necessary, yet still meet the range of motion required to beat somebody, which is largely different than what we do outside of competition.
It's a great point, but it's exactly like any other sport. The sport of CrossFit and the sport of competing in CrossFit competitions is all about blurring that line for our range of motion. It's about making sure that we're doing as much as we need to be doing to get the rep to count. It's like any other sport. If I want to be the fastest hurdler, I'm going to just barely get my toe over that hurdle in each one. If I'm on the basketball court, I'm not going to call my own foul. I'm going to be as aggressive as I can be until I hear the whistle.
You're going to push the limit.
Push the limit. So at a CrossFit competition, at an event here, I'm not going to stop until my judge says no rep.
And this is sport, and we kind of saw this happen a little bit yesterday. Event number 1, Dan Bailey sets a world record. 1 minute, 35 second Diane, and taking a look at the tape, everyone's going to say, hey, how are the hips looking? How are the elbows looking? You know, he had 6 reps taken away. He blurred that line beautifully.
And we've seen that in all of the weekends, in pretty much all of the heats. And as you're noticing here, these look like good reps. Now, when he was going at full speed fast, it was questionable, and you wanted to know whether or not that hip was opening all the way up. He's working at his capacity here. He's exactly where he needs to be. That's how you get a world record time.
But I was actually, I was questioning it. I looked at that. I was here. I watched him, and I was shaking my head. No, slow this down. I kind of have to bite my tongue.
Well, what's amazing is how fast these athletes are moving in real time. You haven't seen somebody move fast until you've seen Froning or Spieler or Dan Bailey move in real time right in front of you. And you're like, he's going so fast. And we're not a replay sport here. Judges have to make the call, real deal, on the floor.
That's a great point. We're not a replay sport. We're not going to be a replay sport. We're never going to have world records if that's the case.
And let's go ahead. Let's check out Dan Bailey moving full speed so we can see just how fast he's going in real time. The judge is right up on him, trying his best and making the right call. That is full range of movement. He's there. We have to trust the guy on the scene. He's got the hardest job on the stands, and as far as I'm concerned, right call.
World record.
I think that the confusion in the community comes from when we look at these movements and we question whether or not it's going to be for competition versus instructional. Is that how I'm going to instruct my athletes to do a deadlift when they're in my gym and they're training? Probably not.
Well, I mean, that's a very interesting point because both of you ladies own gyms, and we have to separate CrossFit, the training methodology, from CrossFit, the sport of fitness. And these are two different things where in your gyms, you are trying to get people to move as beautifully as possible. You would never allow them to compromise their technique or shortchange their range of motion, but things kind of change when we get onto the field of battle and you're trying to win.
Yeah, I would never slow down my athlete. I would never tell Dan Bailey, if I was his coach yesterday, slow down, let's tighten that up. He was doing everything he needed to do. When he's training in my gym, though, you better believe I'm yelling all over him. Tighten up, stand all the way up, get all the way up. You know, squeeze your butt cheeks, do everything you have to do to open up those hips all the way.
It's all based on goals, right? What's the goal of the person in front of you? The goal of Dan Bailey is to win the CrossFit Games. He's going to intentionally blur those lines. The goal of somebody in our gym, maybe they're longevity, they want to be as healthy as they can as long as they can. I'm going to work on form longer and make sure that we're getting what we need to out of each rep, and position is key.
And another one of the big names here in the Central East was Michelle Kinney. Let's go ahead and take a look at Michelle doing event number 4 today. On her final push presses or shoulder to overhead, she was most certainly walking that line between virtuosity, range of motion, speed, and seeing what she could get away with.
Now here we are, we're the final 30 with 45 pounds on the bar for the shoulder to overhead. You can see the lines are a little blurred here. She's not getting the call, though, from her judge. There is no way I would ever expect Michelle to stop, look over at her judge, and say, hey, am I locking out? Do you want me to lock out a little bit more? She did what she needed to do. She did what I would expect any CrossFit Games athlete to do.
When you put it that way, it sounds ludicrous. Who would in any sport?
Now, let's check out Michelle again now. That was slow motion, which the judge does not have the ability to see. Here is full speed, what the judge had to deal with. Michelle Kinney's fast movement on event number 4. Real time. Tough to make a call right there. The judge is right up on her. I mean, that looks good to me. When you slow it down, everybody's an expert.
As a coach, my first question would be, Michelle, did you injure your elbow?
Right.
Is there something going on with that elbow, right? Because it looks like she's trying to get it locked out. That would be my first thought.
I think another interesting point is from being at regionals and whatnot, both of you guys have had workouts, video, things of that nature. There's cameras all over this place. The stadium's packed. You have a judge right on you. You're not going to try to not achieve the range of motion. Everyone in the heat of battle believes they are moving perfectly until, you get the ability to go slow motion, you go, oh, I actually thought I was just nailing everything.
Yeah, of course you do. These athletes, they're not intentionally. We need to make that clear. These athletes are not intentionally saying, I'm gonna see what I can get away with on those pistols. I'm gonna put my foot down until the judge catches me. That's not what they're doing. Michelle Kinney she's a sweetheart. She's not purposely doing that, but this is what happens. This is what happens when you're here and you're pushing your own limits. Of course, we're going to see some things fall apart, but again, that's not the judge's job. That would be the coach's job. job to be yelling to tighten things up, to help them be more efficient. That's not the judge's job.
Well, and I guess the argument then at this point is going to be, is Michelle less fit because she moved the bar that much less distance on each of her repetitions? Is her work capacity less?
Of course not.
Of course not. No, she's doing exactly what she needs to do, because what was the goal we talked about at the beginning of the segment? Trying to win. And you're not going to win. You're not going to beat the competition moving slowly. These athletes are doing exactly what they need to do to try to claim one of the 3 spots with the ultimate goal of the 2012 Reebok CrossFit Games in Carson, California. Thank you very much for your analysis. Competitors, analysts, check in. You want to hear these ladies tomorrow. They are going to be calling play-by-play here from the Central East. Tanya, Cherie, I thank you. For all of the crew here making this thing happen, the volunteers, the guys behind the scenes, they are putting on a heck of a performance and bring you as much footage as we can. If you can, noon Eastern time tomorrow, we are going to be live on ESPN3.com, day 3 of the Central East Regional Competition. If you can't make it, go to games.crossfit.com. We'll have the live stream, event summaries, updates, videos, the whole 9 yards. For the whole crew here in Central East, that's our show. We will see you tomorrow.